first of all, I want to warn us that this is a public gathering. So in this public gathering, there could also be NIS. And there are people working for Ruto and all of that. So not every contribution is meant to help us. So we have to be careful as to which contributions help us and which ones don't. And I'm not going to say which ones, but I'm going to respond globally. Number one, let no one tell us that we should concentrate on Ruto's underlings, his appointees. Any such statement is meant to divert us, because then you would be saying Ruto is good, it's just his appointees who are bad. But everything emanates from his office, from him, directly downwards. Number two, we already went through the IBC dissolution and we said if IBC is dissolved now and Ruto is in a hurry reconstituted now, and Ruto is in a hurry to do so that he can appoint people who are going to do his bidding in the IBC. So we need to remove him so that we reconstitute the IBC. Number three, people who are not in Nairobi must continue to protest wherever they are. So tomorrow's protest should go on, and there should be no language or confusion as to whether or not they are going on. We have to reaffirm that tomorrow's protest should go on, and they should go on all over the country. The reason for them going on all over the country is that Ruto will be spread thin, because if he has to send his goons all over the country, some are in Mombasa, some are in Wajir, some are in Busia, some are in Migori, Kisumu, wherever, he can't manage. So we must exhaust him thoroughly. Even his police will not be able to manage. So let's have demonstrations all over the country, everywhere, wherever you are. You don't have to come to Nairobi. You have to organize and mobilize yourselves where you are, and let's completely exhaust him until he drops. The idea that people can demonstrate sitting at home is a non-starter. There is no demonstration staying at home. In any event, it's also not useful because there is no effect. You have zero effect. And moreover, nobody would know whether you are sick or you are demonstrating or whatever. The point is, let us make ourselves visible. Let us make ourselves loud. Let us make ourselves clear. Let Ruto tremble wherever he is. And let us occupy one singular space. If we are in Nairobi, because we need the numbers, let us go to Parliament. Let us congregate there. Let us get there through whatever means. If you are in Mombasa, pick a place that you are going to go. The beauty with these counties is that some governors and county governments are supporting the protests. So the county askaris will be providing security for you. If, say, for example, you are in the entire Nyanza region, or you are in the entire coast region except probably one county, and there are many other counties where the county governments are actually supporting the demonstration. Speakers have been very clear that the message has gotten to the Senate and so many other people. Most of these people would not want to be seen to be confronting or opposing the protests because of their political interests. If that intimidates them, let them be intimidated properly, but don't pick fights with goons or anybody else. Let's work together. Let's do it peacefully. I agree with the gentleman who said, if you start violence, you will be playing into their hands and you will have no sympathy from anywhere. So let's remain peaceful. But if somebody comes to attack the procession and you are many and they are just a handful of goons, arrest them and tie them up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Would you kindly give a pointer as to how many more minutes you have so that we can plan around that?
Actually, I think we've been here for a very long time. Maybe you would have to decide when, but if it was left to me, the next 3 minutes, we should call it a day, but we should be able to rally everyone that we are going fearlessly and that Ruto is not going to be allowed to behave as if he owns us. Thank you.
Thank you. Kindly allow us to finish at the top of the hour so that only the speakers on the panel can ask questions, only questions, and then Daktari will respond. And we are not adding other speakers. Please kindly bear with us. Reject finance bill, 2 minutes. And then Tabo, in that order. Okay, anyone will not speak. Okay, go on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Please proceed.
Good.
Okay.
Now, I think you take another speaker because engineers, mute your mic because we can't hear you.
I'm getting you. Can you
Okay,
get me?
carry on, yes.
Yes. Encourage each and
Proceed.
everyone on this.
I think we lost him.
So reject finance will go, and then Joachim, in that order, quick.
Hello. Hi. Can you hear me?
We already said we can hear you. So please just proceed. Otherwise, it's taking a lot of time.
Thank you so much. First, let me send in my condolences to the bereaved and all that lost their lives. Number two, allow me also to acknowledge and appreciate everybody's presence here. And I have one question to Daktari. Daktari, what would be your opinion if we all gathered at a certain place or a certain avenue in CBD, and we all were in, for example, let's say we are all dressed in white, sat in one of the streets, just sat there and did nothing and protested and blocked all the roads in the CBD while we were seated. What effect could that have on our agenda? Number two, allow me to say that this gun infiltration is something that we should be prepared to have it going forward. It is an counterattack to what was meant to be a very peaceful procession, what was meant to be a very noble idea. But now going forward, we also need to craft ways on how to counter it. As Daktari has said, that maybe we need to arrest these people, clobber them, and maybe hand them over to the authorities. It is a time that we need now to think extensively, think outside the box, and
professionals who will comprise the youth, men, women of integrity from all religious backgrounds. They will be volunteers. They will not be paid. And they will work in order to set up, one, an independent investigative authority to investigate all questionable land grabs or land allocations, corruption scandals, allegations of institutional and individual abuse, political assassinations, looting from 1963 to now, so that we can put all these grievances to rest once and for all. We can have our country back. We can have our productive land back so that we can turn it into a factor of production in order to eliminate food insecurity and all manner of problems. Then, within 2 weeks, the National Transitional Authority will reconstitute the IEBC. So let's stop talking about the IEBC, because if we allow Ruto to reconstitute the IEBC, He will fill it up with his girlfriends and cronies. And then the elections of 2027 will be a coronation because these people will help him steal the elections. This is what Uhuru tried through the people that were at Serena Hotel, remember? Those were put there strategically so that they could coronate Raila Odinga in the last election, so that we didn't have to have a credible election. We should put an end to electoral injustice by having this IEBC overhauled. It's going to be made up of credible Kenyans with integrity, Kenyans who are not going to serve any specific interest or political party. And then within 3 months, then we have fresh presidential and general elections. This is a very clear thing, and it is doable. As I said last week, elections are routine matters. Election is not a very difficult thing to do. Then we can adopt the technology the blockchain technology that our friend was talking about to secure the electoral process, to make it tamper-proof. Like yesterday, they locked me out of my phone. They pretended to be sending me information through DMs. Then I read it. And within a short time, I was not able to use my Twitter on my phone. Right now, I'm speaking to you on my laptop because they invaded my phone. So they are trying everything. And you know, if you are really a Democrat, if you really respect your people, if you really believe that you mean well for the country, you wouldn't do these things. You wouldn't hire hackers to attack your critics. You wouldn't hire goons to abduct your critics. You wouldn't charge your critics for saying Ruto must go. That's under the Bill of Rights. That's free speech. You cannot take anybody to court and they are convicted because they sang Ruto must go. From now on, our national anthem is Ruto must go until he goes. Then we can revert back to our usual national anthem. I thank everybody. I hope that we can turn out in large numbers because our numbers are our safety, are our security, is what is going to preserve our lives. The last point, this is very critical because people are going to ask, so who can preside over the National Transitional Authority? We have many suggestions, but one of the most critical suggestions is that the Chief Justice, just like happened in the last elections in South Africa, can sit in there, preside over the National Transitional Authority comprised of 54 volunteers for only the period that the general and presidential elections are to happen. Not because we like her or we like the office, not because the judiciary is clean, but for institutional authority that is recognized under the Constitution. Right now, there is not much that she can do if she was to act there voluntarily for a period of 3 months. And there is nobody else we should trust. We cannot trust Wetangula, who heads the National Assembly. We cannot trust Kingi, who works for Ruto. These are Ruto appointees. We cannot trust the military. So the only titular constitutional head that could serve this purpose under the supervision of 54 volunteers, but under the check ultimately of the population of Kenya, would be the Chief Justice. I'm just giving this as an example. And then nobody would say we would have a vacuum. And everybody would understand this is a transitional authority. And if they bring any nyoko, then we greet them nicely. Thank you very much, gentlemen and gentlewomen.
Thank you so much, Dr. for taking the time to come and be with us and share with us. And thanks everyone who was listening. I'll be very, very brief before Hillary closes. I'd like to say that yesterday I received a lot of messages of people telling me to stop inciting them to go and demonstrate. Nobody is inciting anyone to go and demonstrate. What is happening here is that the right to do that is actually enshrined in the Constitution. Now, today I woke up to the government intimidating people. There was the police who would not posted for many months, now posting about, these are the suspects. There was the ministry, the CS of health now coming out all of a sudden after they have killed and maimed people to say, those patients have been paying. We've waived all the time. We've waived the bill, trying to discredit the people who were collecting the money. So the tactic out here is, as I've seen and I'm being recorded, I saw today the government was trying to intimidate a lot of people, and this is going to continue. So those of you who are coming and thinking Marge is inciting anyone, soon, mark my words, you will be in my inbox telling me how somebody has been kidnapped where, and I don't know. So just check with yourself. Know what you want to do. The goons that are being paid, you are in a space where people confessed that they were paid 500 shillings per day to run a wrong narrative. Now, I will mention Intumbi now because he was also mentioned by the person who he had paid in that space. He had paid 500 shillings per day, but they had gone ahead and arrested the person. So the people who participated in being paid by the Kenya Kwanza regime to be put in were already confessing and asking for apologies. So this is an example that you people see that it never works. So even the goons that are being paid there, you're selling your soul for no good reason. You had better follow the right process. You better just use your conscience to really even just wait for some more months. Don't do the things that you're going to regret later, but fight for an enabling environment. If you have the employment back home, because this is what is really bringing a lot of people to the streets, then you will not need to have somebody giving you 500, they send it to your phone, they're going to be able to track you again. So guys, the assignment is back to you. Check. What do you want to do? If you want to be paid by those people, they come for you. That's it. You saw on the spaces, it was recorded. Hillary, I'll be real kindly closing remarks and then we close.
Thank you so much, Marge. That was very well put. And another point of correction, if you're not here when we began, this is a disclaimer. Dr. Miguna is not the head of the Gen Zs and is not stealing any show. He was only here as a senior counsel trying to give directives onto when people were asking what next because we got to the parliament. So anybody that was not here and you had that narrative being shared anywhere else, it's a disclaimer. He's not here for that and he's still on the speaker panel. He'll affirm that for you. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, history will judge you. So if you're not with the team, don't send a wrong narrative. If you are sanitizing yourself to be able to fit back into the Gen Z system, sanitize yourself as an individual, but don't sell a narrative that is not there. Because the first narrative we had was about tribe. It was killed. The second narrative we had, it was being funded. It was killed. The third narrative we had, it was the political affiliation. It was killed. It's none of those ones. So this narrative that we were brought for, it was about the KDF, which also never saw the head of light. Another narrative that is now being shared is Miguna and Giraigo. Those people are not the leaders of the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs and the millennials, they don't have a leader. So if you want to sanitize yourself to fit back into the relevant narrative, fit back yourself as an individual. And let's work as a team, because this is not Kenya for Marge. It's not Kenya for Be Real. It's not Kenya for Bob. It's Kenya for all of us. And if you're not in Kenya, you have people back at home. And this thing affects you directly or indirectly. So if you're not seeing what is being brought, and today you saw what was happening in the Senate, then you can actually wake up from the slumberland and actually feel the need of the people for a change of governance. All we're crying for is a change of governance. People are suffering. We're going to an era whereby it's going to be the haves and the have-nots. How long are we going to sell that kind of a narrative? And then you can sit comfortably and talk that talk, and yet you know what has been affecting Kenya. They kill the medical system and then they open private hospitals. Who's going to afford that? They kill the public schools and they open private schools for themselves. So how long are we going to run that? So whatever we are voting for, whatever we are fighting for, whatever we are crying for as a nation, as a country, is good governance. We have a lot of spillage of wastage of funds. We have a lot of spillage of projects that are not done, and yet they're documented that they're done. Nobody is accountable for that. Accountability is key, even in your own organizations. Accountability is key. We have managers, we have directors. So if we are selling a narrative that is not in coincide with whatever is happening, kindly just sit back and watch the people who can walk the talk, walk it through. It was a pleasure hosting this space. I thank everyone that was able to be on the space today. May God bless you, Doctor. We really appreciate your wisdom in the space, and we thank you very much to accept the second invite. And we hope going forward you're still with us. And anybody that is
You're
here,
welcome.
God bless
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you very much. God bless you so much, Hillary. God bless you and everyone else. Tomorrow we meet. And those that are in my area, you know yourselves, I have water. I'm offering water. That's all I can give the Gen Zs. So if you're there and you think that somebody is sponsoring, if you're there and you want to water down what they've been doing, that's the call that you've been given. Let the people who have the right call, let them follow that call. God bless you, everyone. Hillary, take it back. Madge, if he's not there, because he was a bit held, guys. Sorry, Hillary was held, but it was already scheduled. But you took it through, and we appreciate you for being here. God bless you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Burial. I just tried to text Hillary, and it seems like he's indeed really held up. So let me just try to text him again. But I think now I can see Hannah. We can give Hannah the chance as we try to get Hillary to come on board and close the space. It's really late on this end. We also want to just, continue with other things. Hannah, over to you.
Very much. Hillary, I don't know if you can hear me. Marge, thank you. Be real. To be honest, I don't know. Only a blind person would not see how much the regime is trying to shut people down. We've been having problems. I have been having problems coming onto the platform. I am on the platform. I'm dropped down, etc., etc. Now, they cannot shut these voices down. Let's get that one thing clear. Thanks again, Marge. I know you're closing. They've fiddled with everybody. Whoever has a voice, whoever wants to give people voice, they've tried to fiddle with it. Now, let's not take this to be lightly. My only message to people on the platform is do not open your DM if you're sent any link, unless it's somebody that you know, because that way is how they send you a bag. And then you're unable to add your voice into the movement that is going on. People on their social media, on this platform, actually on X, they send you links on your DM, and that messes everything up. These sideshows, people are actually pushing a lot of different narratives. Please do not concentrate on them. They're just sideshows. That's all it is. It's a sideshow. They would try and divide the voices on many different platforms, as we've seen here on X, telling people there is no demonstrations tomorrow. We should call for a leader. All this, you should not concentrate on it. There is no leader. We've agreed on that. The other thing is, I think this regime is concentrating mainly Mombasa, Nairobi, and 2-3 other towns where they're trying really to unleash the goons to the public. I actually want to give a shout out to Isiolo. They've managed to catch somebody on Tuesday who red-handed, and they've marched him to the police station with a jerrycan and matches, kibiriti, that wanted to light fire on one of their county government offices. So congratulations to them. And this is what it's needed, vigilant. You have to be vigilant. I have seen a lot of young people grouping, giving each other instructions on when they're going to their to the demos. And this is be small groups, in a group. I cannot emphasize enough on everything that Dr. said here, Marge, Be Real, and everybody who contributed. But there is one thing that I really want to emphasize. Forget about these sideshows. They're there to confuse people. And as many people who can come out in numbers, remember, our strength is in our numbers. So please, and a lot of people would, a lot of people would be attacked. A lot of people would be name tarnished. But remember, everybody that is speaking here on these platforms, you don't take everything what you hear. Take it with a pinch of salt, because there are people who want to confuse the narrative, want to confuse the message. The message is one. This concentration on what is next, how can we remove this, how can we do that? No, the message is one. And as Dr. said, the national anthem for now is Ruto Must Go. Thank you, Maj. I don't think I've added anything much from what has been said, but it's just to emphasize, stop concentrating on the side shows. This is what they want. They want the division. They want the concentration to be divided. I've seen a lot of young people coming on the TV actually saying that we don't have a leader. If the EU wants to speak to a leader, he should go to every county, every sub-county, and talk to everybody, the whole country, to the Gen Zs and the millennials in everywhere or every corner of Kenya. And we know that is a tall order. He cannot do that. If he cannot do that, therefore, then he has to leave office. The message comes back to its origin, which is Ruto must go. So thank you very much, Maj.
Thanks so much, Hannah. I mean, the question about the Gen Z leadership has really always startled me, because constitutionally at the moment, the leader that we have of the country is Ruto. So Ruto is the leader of the Gen Zs at the moment. So, and they are expressing their dissatisfaction with him. And that is now where he also needs to come back and say, these are my people, what do they want? So the question about the Gen Z leaders, I think we should stop we're making ourselves very ridiculous, because there's already one leader, according to the constitution, and that leader should just, listen to the people that are talking to him. Vincent, Walewa, and then Sami, we added some speakers as we try to get Hillary to close the space, because he was having some meeting. I think he's very deep in that meeting, so we're going to add 15 minutes. Vincent?
Thank you so much for letting me back on again. Look, I just wanted to reiterate the point that, look, I really feel for the people on the ground. It's going to be hard. It's really a struggle. But for me, I've gathered together a bunch of geeks, for the lack of the better word. And what we're doing is we're building momentum to, as I said before, start direct democracy and making every single level of government accountable via the blockchain. Now, the first step in that process, which I've committed my team to and myself, is a voting system that is incorruptible, and we will deliver that on the 17th of July. Everything else has been put aside to do this. I'm holding regular spaces, so please follow me to listen in on the ins and outs of how we're doing that and how it will be incorruptible. And we need the word to spread. Like the good doctor said, is that yes, there is time for people to protest on the ground, but in the future, this system of government that is all over the world, pervasive and has failed consistently. In every single country, this Westminster system has been exploited and corrupted everywhere. So it needs to end. The only country I believe within my heart of hearts that can do this is Kenya. And the reason why I believe that Kenya can do this is because the demographic there that is undertaking this revolution now is the demographic that understands the technology and knows its benefit and how to implement it properly. And then they can pass on the information to their elders if they did not understand. We're undertaking an education campaign through the application that will be able to be downloaded in a few weeks. But please, As the good doctor said, there is some work to be done on the ground. Unfortunately, these people are very experts at at usurping movements. They've done it in every country all around the world. There's a number of three-letter agencies that are involved that are helping Ruto. It's not going to it's very well funded. This all started, remember, with the IMF. And the biggest holder of shares in the IMF is the US. And who's this man been seeing lately? It's the same story over and over again. So, they're trying to make Kenya the 36th country that will be overthrown since World War II by the same people. So please join us. Please ask any questions in terms of decentralization in the blockchain. Join my space if you can. And we will deliver a product that I hope will forever change voting in this country forever. So please follow me to get the updates on that. And it's a long road forward, but these systems of government have to go. People have to be held accountable, and corruption needs to end.
Thank you. Thank you, Vincent. I just like to, thanks for sharing it. I believe this, Kingsman, I see you. I'm going to let you go next. I believe this is going to be also a solution in some part. But I would like to clarify that even the last elections in Kenya, the management was done by non-Kenyans who later, when we wanted to have access, was talking about data privacy. So you might be having good intentions, but we also have foreign nationals and foreign companies who have been making money with running elections in the African continent. In Germany, we are still doing it a manual way. We go there and we do it manually, and by 6 p.m., we have the results. But we know that the challenges that we have back there, and of course, I believe we need to improve, and we will improve. But I just want to point out, and it's even on record, that the last company that ran elections in Kenya had been charged with
Sure, but what you're talking about are centralized.
Would you
forms.
please let me finish?
Sure.
Thank you. So the country that the company that was really taxed with this was had issues in other countries. They had already been charged in court or had some accusations, so they were not clean. I just like to say that whereas we are looking for solutions out there, the solution should also come from within the country. That's only the one thing that I wanted to say, because they also had a back office that later turned out to be used for different purposes. So my feedback that I'm trying to give at the moment is that Kenyans might not trust the even any electrical kind of voting at this point. That I wanted to just put out there. And also, when these things are being done externally, in the US, in Australia, they rarely bring in people from outside the country to manage their elections, So we want to reach a point whereby we're actually managing our elections ourselves. We haven't read the ballot papers were gotten from Greece the last time. So no, that is just another IMF in another way, So thank you for your contribution over there, Kingsman.
May I just
before you give it to Kingsman,
can I just finish, please?
Yeah, just 1 second,
I think
Vincent.
It's a very important
Just
topic.
a minute, Vincent.
Yeah?
Just a second. The other thing, Matt, is that we are trying to actually demolish this whole system, the system that has been there since Kenya got independent. It's the system that is actually corrupt to the core. So this whole governance system, whether it's election system, whether it's whatever it is, every aspect of that system, that engine has there's actually demonstrations and whatever is going on is to fundamentally dismantle this system, neocolonialism system that has crippled Africa and now crippling Kenya. And that is fundamentally what Kenyans want. They want to go away with this system complete. take this system out, not a middle with it, not fix it, no, just a complete change of system from the bottom up. This system is not viable for Kenyans. This system of neocolonialism is not viable for Africa, and this is what Kenya wants to spearhead, to show that we can have a system that is going to provide for the Kenyans, that is going to provide for Africa. This system of just manipulation and installing leaders that would work for their betterment has to end. And that's what the point is.
May I just complete? Thank you, Hannah. May I just complete the?
Yes, please. Go on, Vincent.
I'm quite shocked at your comments, actually, that you were making some inference that I'm coming in from the outside or whatever. Blockchain technology is completely 100% transparent in terms of the fact that what we're building is open source. And I have made a call to all Kenyan developers to monitor exactly what we're building and to have a look at every single line of code in terms of what we're doing. This is not something, my wife is Kenyan. Kenyan is my future country. I'm investing in Kenya in so many ways that it's in terms of bringing blockchain technology to Kenya and the rest of Africa for that matter. I have no belief in the West, but our system is 100% transparent, totally open source. So the inference that it may be external is preposterous and ridiculous. And the systems that you're talking about are centralized systems that have been in play for years and years and years. And of course they're manipulated. Henceforth, this is why we want to bring blockchain technology to the forum whereby people it's incorruptible, it has never failed, and they are terrified. The powers that be are terrified of you holding the power, of you owning the technology, and that's what we want, ownership by the people. Look, I understand the thoughts. This is some of the things that we need to work through and discuss and give an education piece on, but it is not centralized. It is totally open source, totally transparent, and the people internally in Kenya are more than capable of going through the system and finding it out. And they have, and they've been involved at every single point of the discussion in terms of building this.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vincent. I'd like to just remind you that elections in every country of the world is a matter of national security and a matter of also the constitution. And this is the reason why we're talking about even when are we going... Could you kindly mute your mic, Vincent? That is why we're even talking about when to reconstitute the IEBC. It's not something that can be put out there for businessmen, people coming to take. So even if a country in any part of the world would make a decision to outsource this process to an external company, there are laid out rules to be done. So the citizens that you say will transparently look at it and everything, I just want to really make it clear that this is the constitution we are talking about, and the standards that apply in every other country should apply also in Kenya. So we want to see this system also working in the US or wherever you are. We're not into still being sold things like, let's develop here. We want to develop, but when it comes to national security and constitution, we just want to be clear that, and the feedback that I'm giving you is something that really happened. You can look it up. And it's not like I'm trying to talk down what you're explaining. I'm just trying to get my concerns out there. Yes, the continent needs a lot of input. The continent has very competent people, has a younger generation, but let's have really clear structures, because when you go there, and even if your what is it called, your process is clean, the corruption, people are going to want you to pay something, and then next time another government comes in, there's another one, and I think that, and so we're really just having a reset. And my feedback was that at least the last election, the things that we saw. So this is not meant to to look down upon what you're saying. Thanks for joining us. Kinsman, over to you.
Thank you, Mark, for the chance. Vincent, I just want to maybe make a brief a rebuttal on whatever you've said. I think whatever you're saying, it's noble, it's a good idea. But for me, if you ask me, you are presenting a noble idea whose time has not come. It's like going to a burial and then selling a wedding gown to the bereaved. So the position where we are in as a country, we are not at that time where we can start discussing about which system works for us, which system does not. Our problem as a country is about the political positions giving people opportunities that are not practical and are not fair enough for each and every other person to compete in. So even if you say that your system is incorruptible, it can be incorruptible in terms of operations, but the people who are getting into your systems are corrupt. So in Kenya, we do not have a problem of, I can even say we do not even have a problem of elections process. We have a problem of whereby the people that we elect into these positions of power are people that have been here for the last 40, 50 years. So why is that so? It is so because of the opportunities that come along you being in those political positions. And the narrative in the country is like the citizens, the electorals, and then the Kenyans at large are tired of being part of this whole ecosystem whereby doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. So my sentiments goes back to what Maja said, and also to what Hannah said. So to that, I think for now we are putting the cart before the horse. So hold that thought. In the near future, we'll hold this space. I'm sure you will be invited, or you can come in, and then now we do not. In life, no idea is a bad idea. It's only that they say that you cannot get rid of an idea whose time has come. But I think where we are at the moment, it is not the time for that kind of an idea. So back to our conversation. My rally call, or my last message, will be to our current sitting president, Dr. Ruto. My sentiment will be like, he shouldn't feel like there is anyone who is intimidating him, because most of us here are good students of history, and we remember back in 2007, he was 2008 now, after the election of 2007, he was at the forefront of calling then President Kibaki to step aside and accept the results of the election at that time, because the mood in the country was like Kibaki had not won. And Ruto was at the forefront of calling Kibaki to resign, no, to step aside and let whoever that candidate was at that time to take over power. That is the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. So Ruto's peoples and his cronies and his bloggers, the nice people that he has put into this space, they shouldn't feel like we are intimidating his hold of power or his regime. We are just doing what some of us are his proteges and students, and some of us are also students of history, whereby when we feel like something is not right, then we call it off. We spoke about the day before, maybe to those who are not here, or those who are being intimidated by the message that is going around. We said that Article 1 of the Constitution gives the power to the people, and it says people can exercise power in two ways: through the national government, that is now the national government that we know the way it is, like the executive, that is parliament and the senate, or through the county, and secondly, through the people exercising their power directly. That comes when people, either the electorates, feel like parliament is not representing us, because everywhere these people are going, they were being told, tafadhali, this finance bill is not for us. It's not speaking the language that is in the street. It is not resonating with the population or with the Kenyan people, but they didn't listen to us, because that is the only way we can speak to power. And we felt at that point that these people were not hearing us. Then the people have decided to exercise their right of governance directly, that is through demonstrations, and which we've overemphasized that these demonstrations are peaceful. And at the end of the day, there is a goal that we want to achieve, that we are saying, boss, we employed you, we gave you power, we gave you a mandate, which you failed. These were your JDs, these were your KPIs. You have not even met half of it. So we are saying, at the moment, please step aside, and then we decide our form of governance. So this discourse continues. The discourse continues the day after, tomorrow, on Sunday or Monday or next week. We will keep on doing what we are doing, and guys, don't give up. Let's stay true to the course. Those that will be on the street tomorrow, ensure that it is as peaceful as it is. Birila say that she'll be where you always find her with a lot of bottles of water. Please pass through there. Be peaceful. Maintain law and order. Don't try to be. Don't fall into their traps, which is maybe engage in violence, as Dr. Ria said. Let's remain as peaceful as possible. If there are people that you are seeing are trying maybe to loot, as we said the day before, if you are in a group, please pick that person up, tie him somewhere. If there's a police that is nearby, call him, and then they can be taken up by now the authorities. Otherwise, guys, thank you. I see Hillary, you are back. You can maybe have your last remarks, and then we close the group. Thank you.
Hi, Larry.
Hi, Maja, how are you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm fine. Your meeting was extensive. So,
I'm
oh my
sorry.
gosh. So now, because
Yes.
we actually gave people time, because we were still waiting for you to get into the meeting, I would request that you allow them to have 2 minutes each before you close.
All right. So, what do you think? Can we close it at the top of the hour?
Yes.
All right, guys, you have 24 minutes.
Fine.
24 minutes to go. So, yeah, that's okay, Maj.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
You're welcome. Yeah, Joe, then Dolo, then Eda.
All right. Thank you, Maj. Thank you, Hillary. Thank you, everyone on the speaker panel and everyone that's listening. I want to start at the top like an old school preacher and say that in the latter days I will pour out my spirit upon all people, and your sons and daughters will prophesy, your young men will see visions. This is really what's happening in Kenya, that the Spirit of God is moving upon the country and is speaking through our sons and daughters. We've had a church that has gone rogue. We've had our leaders who are in bed, or the politicians are in bed with the church, but we are having a restoration. So I want to encourage all those guys out there who are voicing out their protests against the government, against injustice, against all those unconstitutional appointments, that you guys are doing the work of God. That the voice of the people is the voice of God, whether it's expressed through the ballot or it's just expressed through their normal voices. In fact, the scripture says that from the mouth of babes unto the heart of God. Continue doing it. Continue persisting. Do not relent. Do not give them space. They are actually against. They are doing things against the will of God by oppressing Him. So you have the will. You also have the backing of the Almighty behind you. So continue, keep on the fight. I want to honor those of us, or those amongst us who have been killed by this government. They have done us an honor, It is because of them that we exist, that we live, that we are going to enjoy our freedom, and we will not let them down. We will fight this thing. We will push this thing to the end. We will make sure that we get the results that they were fighting for. I want to encourage you guys to keep on. It's a battle. If we win a few battles, we will eventually win the war. So keep on fighting. It's not a one day or one stage event. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, and you know Kenyans are marathoners. So keep your strength. Get ready for the final sprint. Build your strength, and we make sure that we win this thing. They started by calling our kids cool kids. Then they migrated on and started calling them terrorists and goons. And nowadays their language has changed to sons and daughters. And I want to focus that sons and daughters. Who orders the police to shoot and kill their sons and daughters? Only a terroristic government orders the cops to shoot, to kill their sons and daughters. So do not buy all their retreat. It's a tactical retreat. Reorganize, regroup, and then the battle continues. If they are surely calling you your sons and daughters, they should be giving you all those plump appointments in government. They should be making you heads of boards that are making money, but they want to send you to they want to send you to Saudi Arabia. They want to send you to other countries to work as housemaids while their kids or their sons and daughters are serving at the heads of boards, different boards, not even just one board, but different boards of parastatus and other state-owned corporations. But they want to ship you and your 2 degrees, or ship you and your PhD to go work as a taxi driver in London, or work as a janitor in the US, or work as a cotton picker in Turkey. But they want their sons and daughters to remain in the country and reap the benefits of your sweat, of the sweats of of our parents and our grandparents. But our message is very clear right now that we want to remain in Kenya. We want Kenya to work for Kenya. We want to be educated in Kenya. We want Kenya to produce enough food and to be food secure, that our kids are not going to be hungry, that we will get rid of this we will get rid of hunger. We want to make sure that our kids are healthy. We want to make sure that we get to enjoy our lifetime in Kenya.